Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us back to yet another podcast brought to you by Pro Junction. Today, we have a very special guest, namely Pranjul Sharma, who's currently working as a product manager at Indiamart, who also happens to be an alumnus of I am Kashipur. Hi, Pranjul. I hope that you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm good.
Now that I've given a brief introduction about you, I would now give you this opportunity to formally introduce yourself to our audiences so that we can all get better acquainted with you.
Yeah, thanks for giving this nice introduction. So there was not much in the background. I did my BTech from SBI Kanpur, worked as an iOS developer in IBM. Then, as you kind of informed that I did my MBA from Kashipur and currently working in Indiamart as a product manager. Yeah.
Great. So now we'll be moving to our first question. I realized while going through your LinkedIn profile that you've done one internship and one project while you were pursuing your BTech. So from a fresher's point of view, what was your experience and learning like?
Yeah, I did one internship. So that was in marketing. And similarly, one project which I did through one of my contacts. So that was also in the same field. So for the learning perspective, I would say as I was doing BTech at that point of time, but always had a interest towards doing something in business side, learning about marketing and all those things. Going forward, I always had a future key will be going into the business and doing MBA and doing something. So did my marketing internship with one of the startup in Kannada place, Delhi. So in that place, I was majorly responsible for designing banners and all those for marketing purposes, deciding and defining the go-to-market strategy for few of the products they had, and did some sales calls with B2B customers they already had in the market. So that was the good and enriching experience.
Yeah.
As you told, there was one of the projects that is. So yeah, I did that project with one of my, you can say, senior of a college. So he was running a coaching center in Kanpur. So he wanted to have a person in minute circle who can help him with the overall refining the marketing and deciding, pitching different colleges and all and students to increase the footfall. So we did overall planning and all those things and approached various colleges like IIT Kanpur, HBI Kanpur and other BTech engineering or management BBA colleges for students who wanted to prepare for MBA and all those things. So it was the nice experience and overall my first instant in the marketing field and in the business field. So that was a great learning and opportunity.
Great to know about that. Now, moving on to the next question, I realized that you have majored in strategy and marketing. How are your learnings helping you now that you've become a product manager?
So I would say strategy and marketing, these were the main building blocks which giving me overall view or defining the thought process which I need to use in product management. So like a strategy is majorly to how to approach a problem and how to tackle that particular any situation if you encounter in the business. Like marketing as well, you have to define or understand the user persona as we learn in the design thinking that you have to create an empathy roadmap and understand the user and how to know your customer and what they want and how should we approach for that then after defining that particular problem. So similar things happen in product management. We have to develop a product and we have to understand a particular customer and how we are bring value to that particular customer and defining that particular journey. So I think in the product management, these two things, background of my in the analytics and marketing, which helped in understanding, and strategy is also defining how to tackle a particular use case and all those things. So that's the thing which definitely helped me in the product management. And I would also say product management is mainly you have to use your analytical skills to come to a particular point using the data driven approach. and the marketing skills to understand the overall business problem and user persona and all those things, and as well as few of the technical skills like SQL database and all those things to work on those problems. And so amalgamation of these two or three things defines the overall what's the product manager have to have in his skill set for approaching that particular field.
So basically, I realized that marketing and strategy actually were the building blocks for the role that you are now currently working as. So it actually worked very well for you. Now, my next question is a very follow-up question. What does the work of a product manager working at IndiaMart look like?
So I would say, as I told you, overall, a product manager have to define roadmap of a product and how to develop and all those things. So day-to-day working was something like we have to do sprint planning for a week or 2 week time, and we have to define roadmap for our team, like developer, testers, designers, and how they will be proceeding with their day-to-day activities. In the meantime, we have to have a meeting with our stakeholders, like business team, sales team, and what's their expectation from the product, and define that product journey on that basis. And once we define those things, we have to make those changes with the help of a team and make those changes live and make changes in the product. And in day-to-day activities, we have to also check how the health of our product going 1 week on week basis. So we have to check the data, take the data-driven approach, how number of the customers going in and out of the top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, and need to analyze those things and share these with our management. And so this was the I think not IndiaMart, but apart, you can say any of the companies follow the same structure of for a product manager. These are the day-to-day activities or week on week activities they have to follow, and they will be helping if you are well-defined process in the place, because majorly the product management is you have to make the time you have to make the approach the time and keep limitations in the overall. Each step you have to define for each and every team and develop the product.
Okay, great. I really like the holistic answer because it really gave a good picture as to what a week actually looks like. You have to interact with a lot of people. You also have to check what the progress of the product is like, and then also in hindsight look all the mistakes that you've committed, then also remedy it. Great. So moving on to the next question, while we were even having the discussion prior to the recording, you said that you also worked for a startup which is named by the name Blaze Mobile Studio. So could you please elaborate your experience on founding a startup?
Yeah, so we had an idea. The inception was something like this. Two of the friends we were. So we had an idea for starting something at tech space and providing a product, defining and developing the product for that particular space. So idea was something like this. We wanted to develop the educational app which help a particular student or the user to learn things and increase their overall mathematical or those other skills. And in the meantime, they enjoy that particular application as a game. So it was a gamified form of an educational app. So that was this was the idea. And we had a brief stint of around a year and a half. And in the meantime, we were trying to get funding and all those things. And we were in the discussion of many founders and angel investors, but we couldn't able to secure those. There was some financial constraint we had in the team. So that was the overall journey we had. But yeah, I would say that was a very enriching experience we had, and there was a lot of learning. There was many of the to and fro's we had on the different, you can say, angel investors, our customers, understanding them, and that provided us a different business perspective to us for understanding the business and how to proceed it further.
So if I remember it correctly, this was something that you did prior to joining your MBA classes.
Yeah, this was we were working in our corporate job after the
Yeah.
BTech. We started that particular startup, and after that I joined MBA. Yeah,
Okay,
you're
great.
correct.
Great. So basically, before even joining your MBA classes, you were ready with a lot of hands-on experiences. So,
Uh,
in hindsight, you could look back and see the mistakes you committed or the things that now you're learning theoretically, the way you implemented them. So basically, it was first your learning experience, and then you went and learned it via paper, and with the help of your teachers, you grasped the entire concept of it. So I could really see that this was really a enriching learning experience for you. So, did it help you while you were also solving case studies?
so I would say it helped me in two different aspects. One
Hmm.
would be understanding the classroom thing and analyzing those on the business aspect. So that was
Okay.
made easier because I have already had a experience in
Yeah.
business and understanding the ground realities of a
Hmm.
startup. So we were able to grasp those things easier, and
Okay.
they did help in the case studies and making the relevance with the overall customer and what
Hmm.
need. I was able to bring something new perspective with the
Hmm.
other students and all.
Yeah.
But I would also say MBA did help, we took a particular marketing approach in the startup, and that particular thing didn't work for us, and we have to stop that. But once I joined MBA, and the same thing, the professor told us that if you take that particular
Yeah.
approach in the marketing of your product, that would not be helping, and there will be a
Hmm.
low CTR and
Hmm.
much high eCPM. So I
Yeah.
think that would have been मतलब क्या कहते हैं, that path should not have been followed if I have done the MBA and had
That's
those
true,
learnings. So I
Brian. Yeah.
would say that was definitely help.
Also, just a follow-up question. Did you ever go to any of your professors and did you tell them that we had this idea and basically you laid all your cards bare and this is how you went and did you ask for their insights as to where you could have worked better or how it could have helped you and how could have you basically saved your startup?
Uh, I think the startup was we founded it before मतलब, just joining the MBA. But yeah, I had a discussion with one of my professors. Like one of the
Okay.
professor was is telling about the product management
Hmm.
only. So
Hmm.
in that particular post, I approached him and I said I did develop that particular product of
Oh,
my
that's great.
startup, and how we approached this particular aspect, and
Hmm.
should have been done that, and what new we could do if we approach it again.
Yeah.
So he provided some feedback and valuable info. So I think they provided some help, understanding the overall cases.
Great.
That was like a business case for me, and they helped
Okay.
me with that.
That's cool. That's nice, actually. Okay, so moving on to the next question, we wanted to understand that how do you keep yourself up to date and continue to learn now that the official four-wall classroom learning experience has stopped for you?
Yeah, so classes learning that have definitely stopped, but I would say the other person have to keep on learning on day-to-day basis, and
Hmm.
I would say going through the business cases, business cases we experience in the real world. That would be the great part for any of the MBA students or the once we pass out from the college.
Hmm.
Learning from them, learning from the what's the current trend in the market and what losses and what gains are happening with the company. So
Hmm.
that provides us the different learning in the real world. And I would say if you wanted to learn for a particular jargon or anything technical
Hmm.
regarding the marketing or any of the field, so I usually refer to YouTube videos or various courses which are in the market. So that I usually do in a month on month basis sometimes. But I would say the real world cases would be the
Best
best
teacher.
teacher. You can learn from them and keep
Hmm.
on learning. There
Yeah.
will there is a vast history of businesses, and you can always refer to them if you
Yeah.
wanted to learn something.
Absolutely. So basically the key idea is to never stop being a learner and always be a disciple and have an open mindset because the trends are actually changing in a jiffy. So if you don't keep yourself updated, you'll be out of the business soon. Okay, so now moving on
Yeah,
to the last
definitely.
question. Moving on to the last question, how would you rather, what would you suggest to a person who is a noob, who doesn't have much idea about this domain? What tips would you give to that person who will do this again? My question is the interviewer. Okay. Moving on to the last question. How should one wanting to get into the product management domain start preparing so that they become a better fit for the organization?
And so I think for preparing for a job in the product management, I would say background in marketing and a little bit of analytics will be definitely greater.
Okay.
As well as I would, as I previously stated, na, कि product management is, I think that trade which combines two or three things in
Hmm.
one domain. So
Hmm.
one would be definitely would be the marketing and understanding the overall what's the how to proceed a particular problem and use the understanding of marketing and understanding the user persona and all those. And I would say analytics would be to have a
Yeah.
data driven approach towards the product and understanding it. And I think if you have a technical background or
Hmm.
you had a learning of these technical things during the MBA in any of the analytics courses, so I think that would be these three things you can definitely learn in the college. And there will little bit of like if you are in the HR, so learning about the HR things and those user defining the user problems and also having the empathy with the customer. So that these things definitely help the product management, and you can combine all those methods and in the one place. So these things could be the starting point, and definitely this will take you long way ahead in the product management.
That's a very good holistic answer. Clearly, being a people's person, also having a good eye on the analytical side, also then being strategically sound so that you know what the ins and the outs of the market are. Being basically, it's I feel like one area where you need to constantly be up to date as to what the market is and what the trends in, what the outdated trends were, what could the potential trend be. So that actually I feel like would be a good starting point for anybody who wants to get into this domain and are right about to start their preparation journey. So great. With that, we come to an end of our today's podcast. And on behalf of the entire Grow Junction family, I wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Manasvi. Thanks a lot.